This relates to more news. Down here you have some people relating to that the protest. You have a small sanctuary down here in Florida, over there, down there. Can't really see it from here, but you know, it's just in the corners, some waving a flag, different things. Anyway, China and U.S. talks will continue Monday in London. You have 6 died in an airplane crash in San Diego. You have the course decline relating to firing the CEPO board members. You have the Treasury sanctions relating to El Chapo, his sons, relating to fentanyl trafficking, funds. You have you have family of detainees holding news, members of ICE detainees, family members of the ones who were members of family members that were detained by ICE. They'll have a news conference. You have an U.S. Army carries out its first detention relating to the Mexican border military zone. You have I believe 500 Marines are going to be ready to deploy relating to for LA. And you, I believe that's at Camp Pendleton, from Camp Pendleton. I thought I heard that on the report. 500 Marines ready to be deployed. Let me see what else we have. We have CIA director explains relating to the strategical aspects of China related to spy and cyberware technology regarding here in the U.S. The Trump parade, he has tons of tanks coming in. I believe because of the tanks, how heavy they are, how they might damage relating to D.C., they have to pay D.C. a certain substantial amount, millions of dollars, because of the tanks. That's this Saturday the 14th, June 14th, Trump's birthday, I believe. You have an parade vintage of trains. That was NYC, related to old trains, showing the old vintage trains, subway cars and different things. You have Trump announces 1,000K for newborns. That relates to Invest American round table meeting with him and Mike Johnson and a few others. You have Warner Brothers relating to Discovery, breaking up in 2 companies. That was quick news. Let me see. Yeah, so you have down there, let me see. Down there, all the way down there, it's kind of a distance. But you got people in that corner relating to waving flags, Spanish flags, and relating to protesting relating to that situation in LA. So you have a small sanctuary of protesters. All right, let's get some more news. I don't think they'll try anything like that what they do in California. This is a different city, so anything can happen in any given city. I'm just saying, Being certain cities, they're different than others. You know what I mean? Scripture talks about earthquakes and uproars of the people, civil unrest, sedition, mutiny, insurrection, which is a violent uprising, and in this case, something peaceable that's supposed to be peaceable protest. You see people down there in the middle of the street, walking in the middle of the street. 2nd Ezra 15. Let's go to that real quick. Second Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, that's mutiny, insurrection, violent uprising, invading one another. You can go to Ezekiel 38 when they invade a country, talking about they shall invade a country that, let me get it real quick, Ezekiel 38, because that's another invading, siege, and occupying. Ezekiel 38. Thou shalt say, I will go up into a land of unwalled villages. Unwalled means something that's not protected or fenced or gated or protected. And I will go into them that are rest. That's the people, man. And dwell safely in all of them that dwell without walls. And that's the place where it's unguarded. Open borders, literally, no walls or defenses, and you're seeing that. That's this place, man. You know what I mean? In a matter of speaking. And all of them dwell without walls, and having no barriers nor gates. So it's unwalled. To take spoil and to take prey, and turn their hand upon the desolate places that they now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle, goods, dwell in the midst of the land. That relates to occupy, siege, and occupy and take over, man. That's what that goes to. It's 38, 12, and 11. So they're going to dwell in a place where it's unwalled, where people dwell safely and securely, man. 2nd Ezra 15. There shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard the kings or princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So they taking the power in their hands, not regard the kings and princes, man. And a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able to. That's martial law. Also, Scripture says in 16 of Ezra, talking about they should desire to communicate and see, but won't be able to. You know what I mean? So that's I believe that's 16 and 27 of Ezra. You know what I mean? So they're going to want to communicate and see, but they won't be able to. They want to go from A to B, but they won't be able to. And because of the pride of the city shall be troubled, houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. For many great misery shall happen in the latter times that them that dwell therein, because they walk greatly with pride. Pride and arrogance. Another version is because of the pride and arrogance, the misery is going to come upon them. You know what I mean? So that's the judgments, man. You have men shall have no pity upon Men shall have no pity upon the neighbors, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. That's home invasion. Home invasion. Home invasion to siege and occupy, relating to goods, seeking for food, victuals, and different things. Using the sword, weapons. They spoil their goods. To spoil their goods, take what's available at that immediate time, man, by using the sword, weapons. Because of a lack of bread, lack of victual supplies, and different needs, man, different things they need. You know what I mean? And for great tribulation. Alas, never been a time since Jacob troubled, but ye shall be saved of it. Jeremiah 30:7. That's part of that, man. The hour of temptation, Revelations 2:10 talk about. You know, so talk about you should be tried. I'll get that. Let me get that real quick. Revelations 2:10. You know what I mean? So ultimately, running to Revelations 13. Revelations 2:10. We'll get it from a GNT, see what it says. It's going to be a quick lesson. 2:10. Don't be afraid of anything you're about to suffer. The scripture talks about for you're not given the spirit of fear, love, power, but a sound mind, man. For the Lord gives you not a fear of power. Gives you not a. The Lord gives you not a mind. Let me get it. Let me read this first, though. Don't be afraid of anything you're about to suffer. Listen. The devil will put you to the test, having some of you thrown into prison. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing people. They're going against fighting against, relating to protests. Standing for their so-called rights, as they say. But they're going to be thrown into prison. Go to Romans 13. Relating to not fight against the powers, man. You know what I mean? Buck up not against the ordinances, the powers that set up, man. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of people gonna do what they do. But the point is, don't be afraid of anything you're about to suffer. Listen, the devil will put you to the test, having some of you thrown into prison. That's the test, the hour of temptation. Your troubles will last 10 days, for example, or more, or less. Be faithful to me, even means death. And I will give you a prize of victory, which is a crown of life. For the Lord gives us not the spirit of fear, but love and a sound mind. That scripture says, man. Scripture also talks about fear not that the ones that trouble thee, man. You know what I mean? So, 1:7. That'll probably sounds a lot easier than said than done, you know what I mean? Some people would say or believe. But, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind, man. And that's really to the believers anyway, not people in the world, you know what I mean? People in the world, they're going to do what, things of the world, you know what I mean? Romans 13, we'll go to that real quick. And also 17 and 13. And you can go to Ezekiel 21, 17 and 13, talk about by thy sword. Ezekiel 21, talk about, we'll get it real quick. Let me just read it. Let everyone be subject to the higher power, even subjugated to those higher powers. But there is no power but God, and the power that ordained of God. And that's the ones who the Lord used, ordained, relating to put in position. Pretty much managers that's on the earth running things, man. Those managers are ordained by the owner, in the matter of speaking. That's the Yahweh Bashar Milshad, man. Just like a management, when they change managements, you know what I mean? They change managements. No, they changing, you know. Lord is changing ones put in position. Scripture says, I set some, I believe in Psalms, talk about, I set some up and take some out, you know what I mean? In the matter of speaking. Well, let me see if I can get it. Let everyone be subject to the higher power. So there is no power but God, and the powers that are ordained of God. Whosoever that resists the power resists the ordinance of God. So when you're going against, related to the powers that are already set up, for example, you know, you got peaceful to protest under different things, but when it turns violent, then you're going against the powers, man. You know what I mean? You're going against that ordinance. The part of that peaceful protest is related to statutes relating to the ones who set up those ordinances for you allowed to peacefully protest. Now, when you go against that, you're going against that order, man. What meaning when you start to incite violence, man? You're going against that. You're going against that authority, man. Whosoever thou resisteth the power, resist the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive themselves damnation. So that would be the consequence. When you do, for example, the protesters, when something peaceful becomes violent, the outcome of it is somebody can be killed, put in jail, or, you know, deleted, or worse. You know what I mean? So that would be the consequence. And you have it relating to those in LA, they were using rubber bullets, using different things, you know what I mean, to neutralize these protesters, man. Next, they can use a more lethal form of tranquilizing, you know what I mean? So, you know, depending on the intensity of the escalation, man. But they're there to de-escalate using, you know, the minimum lethal force as much as possible. So the rulers are not in terror to do good works, but to the evil wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praised the same, for he is a minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do which is evil, be afraid, for he that beareth the sword in vain, for he is a minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. So the Lord can use him as that sword, man. 17:13 of Psalms real quick, and I'll go to Ezekiel 21. So that's the Lord's sword, man. The Lord using them for his purpose, man. You don't like them, but he's used them accordingly, man. 13, arise and disappoint him that cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, man. Which is the Lord's sword. He's the Lord's sword. Ezekiel 21. Ezekiel 21. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we make mirth? Should we make mirth light or make fun of it? Relating to something that's an example over there, relating to a flag. That's a Mexican flag. That's one of for the protesters. You got the news over there. Okay, so we'll read that again. Son of man, prophesies and say, thus saith the Lord, a sword is sharpened and also refurbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we make mirth of it? The contempt is not the rod of my son in every tree. So the sword is the Lord. That's the Lord's left hand side, using the ones in power, man. The earth has been given to the hands of the wicked. The hands of the wicked, what's in the hands of the wicked is their sword, man. You know what I mean? And who blessed them with that sword is the Lord, man. That's the Lord's left hand side. You know what I mean? And part of the structure of that left hand side of that left hand side is the authorities, law enforcement, different types of entities of law enforcement and agencies, man. That's part of the sword. That's part of the ones in power. But that's also part of the ordinance that the Lord used the left-hand side to set up, man. And that's part of their structure, man. So when you go against that, there's consequence. You know what I mean? So, you know, matter of speaking, you have to follow under that ordinance, man. Because the ones who go against that, for the most part, is going to be a consequence. For example, the protests, like I said. You know what I mean? Ones who are doing violence and all that get arrested. Worse, they could be deleted or get seriously hurt or get deleted. You know what I mean? So that's why you stay within the boundaries of the ordinance, man. So that refurbish, when you refurbish, you revitalize, make it like new. And that swords, it glitters. So revitalizing that sword, making it shiny, you know what I mean, ready to use, man. Okay, so what's the other one? Psalm 78. I think it's 78. Hope this helps relating to information. This is a few scriptures. This is the one. Psalms, let me get it. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? $75. Let's be 75. 75 and 7. But God is the judge, and he that putteth down one and setteth up another. That goes to one's in a position of power. He sets one down and he sets up another, man. You know what I mean? The kings, for example. Let's go to some more quick news real quick. Let's go to some more quick news. Let's see what's on there. protesters are still clashing with police. 700 Marines in California ordered to assist during the protests. This is ABC News. 700. 3 hours ago. You have an here we go, top news. Trump calls National Guard amid protest. California governor plans to file a lawsuit against Trump because it was division. Scripture says, if Satan be divided against Satan, how can his kingdom stand but have an end? So Gavin Newsom he has issue with Trump pretty much calling the National Guard, but his violence in the respective city and the respective state, man, or the cities in his respective state. So, you know, he's going to do something. He's not going to allow certain things to happen, just continue to happen violently. So you have division between Gavin Newsom and pretty much he was saying he's inciting and antagonizing certain things. So, you know, Satan's divided against himself, man. Without law and order, there's anarchy and chaos, man. It's that simple, man. California governor plans to file a lawsuit against Trump over National Guard deployments to protest. Los Angeles braces for the 4th day of ICE protest. These are what I'm showing. And that the glass shields they have, they use that to control, relating to crowd control, you know, and to protect themselves from getting, you know, stuff thrown at them, man, such as, you know, bottles or different cocktail, whatever they call that, mocktail cocktails and different other things they can use as projected projective weapons, you know what I mean, to you know, do damage to, you know, the individuals. Shalak. President Trump thanks the National Guard for the presence. Los Angeles. You have ICE protests, 500 Marines, actually 700 and plus, being mobilized. Like I said, California plans to sue the Trump administration, and the Trump administration calls the governor of California and the mayor of which would be Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom pretty much incompetent, man. I've seen a report saying that Trump was saying that, you know, allegedly. California to sue Trump as tensions escalate in Los Angeles. So the biggest subject is these things in California going on. You know, so this is just something quick relating to news. I want to give all praise Yahweh Bashem Yoshua Bashem Rakakada. This is Isaiah Wolf. I hope it helps relating to information, and but most of all, I hope it, you know, is informative relating to information. Lord, you know, we're willing. That being said, this is Isaiah Wolf. All praise Yahweh Bashem Yoshua Bashem Rakakadash. This is Isaiah Wolf. Praise and honors the men relating to this truth and knowledge, so we know this truth and knowledge. And call Yahbashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. Give all praise Yahbashim Yashah Bashim Rakakadash. This is Isaiah Wolf. I hope it's helpful. Whoever comes across, ready to be informative. Shalom.